8th, 2025. I'm Kelly Lang, Vice President, and I will be chairing the meeting in the absence of the President. Mr. Zweigert and Mr. Jenkins are both absent and excused from tonight's meeting. This is a public meeting of the School Board of West Bend Joint School District Number 1. More than 24 hours prior to the meeting, notice of the time, place, date, and subject matter of this meeting was posted at the entrance door of the Education Service Center and on the district's website. It was also sent to the West Bend Community Memorial Library, the Daily News, WRU, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and other media sources that have requested notice of our meetings. I'll just pause here to ask Superintendent Wimmer to confirm that this meeting was properly posted.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Please rise and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Next is approval of the agenda. I move to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. First on our agenda is our recognition piece, and we have the band program and fundraising kickoff. We have an item tonight, recognition for this evening. Mr. Corey Murphy, Director of the High School Band, will be leading this item.
Hello.
You can go right up there. I don't want to sit down. They're going to talk for 5 minutes.
All right. We have some slides to share with this. Thank you, Tim.
They're up here for you guys already.
Awesome.
And then it'll just be up and down keys to go back.
Perfect. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Oh, there we go. My name is Corey Murphy, and I'm the high school band director. I've been here since 2014, and I'm really happy to be here. I love it here. I wanted to just kind of talk about the band program overall real quick while we launch our upcoming fundraiser. And going back into the history, I have this framed record on my wall in the picture here from 1968, 1969. You can see the band in their white uniforms. We have quite a few of them dating back to the 50s in our inventory, but it kind of got me curious about the history of the band. So I did a little research on it, and the earliest date I could find of record on the band was early 1940s. So it is a program steeped in a lot of tradition and a lot of great routines that have developed over a long time. So we started out with just 72 members over 2 curricular ensembles. And let's see here, I gotta get my slides to move and they're not cooperating. Oh, there we go, too much. So I mentioned the uniforms. We're looking at upgrading our uniform inventory soon, and we have some dating back to the 50s in the band room. So if you're ever curious and you want to stop by and check them out, I'd be happy to share those with you. There's a lot of cool fashion trends over the course of time here. Recently, we did a history project with the band. It's called the Alumni Photo Timeline, and we put it up on our band website. I'm going to just point to that on the bottom here, wbhsbands.net. I worked with former director Robert Dittmer on this, and we have photos dating back to the 50s of the band all posted on the website. So, again, a lot of cool history there. Okay, today, we have 2 curricular ensembles at this point in the year, although that will change about the second quarter. Our concert band is our 9th grade ensemble. We have about 37 members, actually. It's gone up since I made this. The marching band is our largest ensemble, sophomores through seniors. We have about 85 members. And that group, it's kind of confusing, but in a nutshell, it splits into 2 groups based on audition in November. We have a ton of co-curricular offerings. Some students spend just about every night of the week in the band room. We have Pulse as our jazz band, WB3 is the brass band, Brass Wind and Fire is basketball co-curricular, and we have chamber music, which is like solos, ensembles, duets, trios. And overall, we have 95 members in those groups. A lot of overlap among students with them, but a lot of involvement there. Nope, wrong way. Oh man, the up arrow's not working for me. Here we go. So that's our band calendar for our upperclassmen band. Lots of activities throughout the course of the year. You'll see our band in the community through pep bands, through many of the West Bend parades. We do a tour, and we're going to be returning to Baraboo to march in the Christmas Lights Parade this year, one of the band favorites. Stay in the Dells when we do that. And each band, each of those three ensembles I mentioned earlier, has their own event. And so just as an example of that, there's the concert band at their event last year. They earned a 1 at their festival. And the wind ensemble went to Six Flags and competed in the Music in the Parks, and they earned first place in their event too. And so last year we were happy to go to New Orleans on our 6-day tour over spring break, and it was an amazing trip. I had a great time. What do you think? Yep. So there's pictures of the band doing that. We had 4 performances over the course of that trip. All right, so that brings us to our inventory. So we have over 150 instruments that are school-owned that we maintain in the band room, and those are for a variety of different uses. One is the primary instrument rental for students in need. So if the family can't afford the instrument, we'll provide one through the school. Instruments based on availability. The percussion section, there's a lot of instruments in the percussion section, and each individual plays many of them over the course of the year. And then secondary instrument study. So I'm going to kind of go through those a little bit here. So the first one is marching instruments. There's a couple of current students modeling those for us right now, and Jacob's holding a sousaphone, which is the marching equivalent of a tuba. You may rent a concert instrument through a local store or purchase one, but we don't expect the students to own 2 tubas, let alone 1 in most cases. So that's an example of one that will be provided by the school, as well as the mellophone, which is like the marching equivalent of the horn. Of course, there's marching baritone and some alternative to oboe or bassoon or something that we wouldn't march to. And then there's some instruments that just don't get rented out through local music stores. And they tend to be the biggest ones too. Go figure, right? So tuba, bassoon, bari sax, and double French horns are not available at White House of Music or really any of the local stores for that matter, so the school would provide. All right, this is the exciting one. So secondary instruments. I'm going to turn this one over to Nicole Hagland, our senior drum major, to talk about.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nicole Hagland, and I'm a senior at the West Bend High School. As a prospective music education major, having access to many instruments has been vital to helping me prepare for my future. Currently, I have 7 instruments, 6 of which I rent through the school and 1 of which I own personally. Having the ability to play so many instruments has allowed me to be a part of many different ensembles. I am the bari sax player for our brass band. I was the oboist for the symphonic band this past year, and and currently I am playing the marching baritone with the freshman concert band. In college, I'll have to take semester-long classes teaching the fundamentals of each instrument, so having access to so many instruments has given me a significant head start for these classes, better preparing me for my future.
All right, thank you, Nicole. And so I wanted to mention that we do feel well supported, and we thank you guys for your support of our band program that allows all these things to happen. Like everything else these days, the cost of instruments is going up, the cost of repairs is going up, supplies are going up. And so just as an example of what we're looking at, this is one instrument in our inventory, this tenor sax. It's a Busher. It's probably about 40 years old. Decent horn, plays okay. That's our assessment of it. Gave it a 7 out of 10 last year on its playability. And this is the report on the recent repairs that we've done on it. PC is playing condition and R is a repair. So this repair in December of 24 cost about $224 on that instrument. So they're not cheap. They could go up to about $600, $700 on a saxophone repair and repad. The cost of a new one is about $2,700. So you can see how that math kind of catches up to you pretty quickly. Student line instruments versus intermediate instruments, just different levels, but comparable in price. And then, of course, we have bigger saxophones too, like the tenor or the bari, which can get way up there. All right, so that's where Feel the Music comes in, and I'm going to turn it over to band parent extraordinaire, Linda Fink, to talk about this one.
Hello, I am Linda, band parent extraordinaire, apparently. Quick question, who here was in the band? No one? Okay, I was only actually at Badger, I didn't in the high school. Okay, who here has a relative that's in the band, child or anything? All right, that's what I like. Okay, so what this is. So Fuel the Music is a capital campaign that will help expand the instrument inventory and replace the band polos. As Corey said, the school district is extremely supportive, but it's just the cost of stuff goes up. So we have instruments that are over 50 years old, right?
Yeah.
So there's a number of instruments, some of them aren't really playable. So the point of this is to try to get new instruments and help us out that way wise. And then I'll go into, and replace the band polos. It's a multi-pronged campaign with student fundraising, corporate service clubs, and foundation requests, and direct public support. Kickoff will be September 20th, I'll get to that later, and will continue through June 2026. The cool thing of this is it's a capital campaign, but it's grown into a public awareness campaign because the district band program, obviously the high school, but the program as a whole is spectacular. And I think not enough people know that. So goal number 1, the instruments. Secure additional funds for upgrading and expanding the instrument inventory, as Corey had referenced instrument repair, and then increase the instrument support supplies, your reeds, your drumsticks, all that kind of stuff. The amount of supplies to be purchased will be dependent on fundraising. So this whole campaign is whatever we raise, then we're spending. We're not obviously spending from the base budget. This is all from the fundraising budget. The polos, has anyone here been to the 4th of July parade recently? I hope a couple. Okay, so these polos are over 20 years old. So if you guys can think back to polos from 20 years ago, that nice, like, not cottony, polyester, heavy yuck, that's how old they are. Nicole can attest, they are not very comfortable. This last year, we were behind a group that had a lot of stopping. So normally half an hour for the parade was an hour. At least it wasn't 98 degrees this year. So anyway, $3,500 to $4,000 for replacement polos. So we talked then about the recognition. So the donor levels for the Fuel the Music campaign will be set as follows. You guys can see. Benefits of donations will include the following recognition: social media, band concerts. Within local media, we're going to be promoting this through local media, and on a donor plaque displayed at the high school. I'll get to the Dine About, but restaurants participating in the Dine About Town event will also receive increased traffic, what a benefit, and a recognition plaque. If a singular donor covers the new polos, if anyone knows of anyone that wants to donate for new polos, they'll get their logo on the sleeve. Okay, Fuel the Music student fundraising, running 9/20 through 11/14. What this is we have these 5 restaurant partners: Michelanos, the Norbert, the Orville, Old Cedar Inn, and Gary's Place. They all donated $10 to $15 in coupons to then be utilized. You get a single ticket, 1 night a week. You get to go out. Not that you have to do all in 1 week, but the students will be selling it for $20. 100% of the proceeds go to the band. This is a homegrown fundraiser, so there's nothing off the top. 100% goes back to the band. Now you're wondering, how are we kicking this off? Great question. Fuel the Music concert being held in partnership with the Bend Theater on September 20th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. during farmers market. So if you're already going to farmers market, need some fresh food, then just kind of come on down between 9 and 11. It's a drop-in concert, so be there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want. And this is the kickoff to the campaign and the weekday Dine About fundraiser. The lobby area will also be public awareness of the program and lesser-known instruments. So we'll be having, let's say you're a 5th grader and you're like, oh, I like clarinet, but I don't like it that much. Is there something else I can do with it? Oh, yes, the oboe, the bassoon, et cetera, et cetera. So we're also working very excitedly with Jen to then incorporate the new point-of-sale system with this campaign. So this will make it easier for band supporters, out-of-towners, and alumni to donate directly. And this will be easier for ticket sales, too, because who carries cash, right? Pretty much no one. And as long as we're in front of you guys, I felt this was a way to promote. Follow us on the band website, or we also have a Facebook group. Questions, the reason I have this here, because there's questions to join. And you learn about the band happenings and opportunities and learn more about the instruments. With that, any questions? Or comments about how excited you are, that is also allowable.
Excellent. Does anyone have any questions for them? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this something that is solely going to be funded through donations through the campaign, or is there, do we have some budgeted amount?
So our budget, we, in total, you spend just about $550,000 on band. That takes care of staffing, supplies, et cetera. This is on top of our already expenditures. One thing that we're readying for in partnership, if you noted, not only are your polos old, but remind me how old your uniforms are.
28 years, I believe,
And what's the actual life cycle of a uniform?
About 10 to 15.
10 to 15.
10 to 15 years. So we'll be I'm foreshadowing that right now. In spring, we'll be asking for about $100,000 in addition to what you already give to replace those uniforms. What Band Director Murphy is doing is convening students and some of the parents in areas, and they've already kind of put out requests for information to start looking at that and convening focus groups to check it out so that we have a recommendation timed with budget development. So we're already going to be asking you to give just a little bit more to take care of that piece. So these were some of the extras.
And is part of the reason, other than bringing awareness to the awesome kickoff that you have coming?
Yeah.
Is that because it comes in under the donations? Like, do we have to approve certain donations?
So here's a really good piece. This one is going to come in directly. So you're thinking of the athletic booster clubs. They are their own entity. The Education Foundation, they are their own entity. The band booster sits under our district umbrella. They'll conform, so when that comes in these pieces, it actually comes in directly to our accounts. They follow all of our procedures, and they've already filled out and completed fundraising applications and all of those things. So good question to note that difference. We wouldn't have to be piecemealing every time they earn and hit a certain amount. It's coming in under that. Yeah, so they're just a little unique and a little different that way.
We are a little unique.
Always.
I'm sure our senior is super happy to hear that timeline on uniforms too. Like, thank you so much for that.
You know what? You get to pick it. You're instrumental in picking and developing what the next one. And I'm sure that if you do student teaching and you go into music education, you'll land back here in some form or fashion along the way. So you'll get to see them in action too.
The irony of how we know how old it was because on the alumni page, Corey posted those band uniforms, and somebody's like, yeah, it was 2000, blah, 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 when we got the white ones. And the person's like, no, I was jealous. So yes, they do.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for coming. We so appreciate your time and being here tonight. Excellent. Next on our agenda is public participation. I did not receive any public participation comment cards. If there's anyone here who wishes to speak, I can take that. But seeing none, we will move to the next agenda item. We've reached the consent agenda. Items include minutes of the August 25th, 2025 regular board meeting and executive session, contracts of which there are none, resignations of which there are none, and retirements of which there are none. Disbursements posted to September 5th, 2025. Are there any questions regarding items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We have now reached the report section of the agenda, and I would like to welcome Tim Harder, Director of Facilities and Technology, who will provide us with a construction report.
All right, good evening, board members. I think Superintendent Wimmer, we counted roughly 82 days ago. I feel like it was the weekend of graduation, and the facilities and technology team was right behind the teachers as they checked out, and we're getting ready to turn over our buildings to Findorf, our construction partners, in this process. So in a short time, we've accomplished a lot. With school starting, a little bit of a different update of just where we've been, also what's been accomplished by school, and then where we go this fall with those items that we had talked about pushing back further on the schedule. So overall construction updates, as you get to the end of the construction process, all of our final mechanical and occupancy inspections were completed on areas that were scheduled to be completed prior to the start of the school year. So Superintendent Wimmer had figured out 82 days from the start of a project. When we staged this project, we knew certain areas would not be needed for day one. For example, we have 4 classrooms at Green Tree that will be for early learning in the future. We have some office spaces on the 2nd floor and an early learning classroom at McLean that we did not need day one. So as those areas that'll be used by early learning or were not a priority to start this school year, we will continue that process through this fall. Final fire alarm and sprinkler inspection was completed on 2 new systems. You see the picture on the right. So our new systems are a little different. For our students who have not heard them during their first fire drill, it will not just be an obnoxious sound. It actually talks to you, tells you where to exit the building, et cetera, at that point in time. With new strobes, some different pieces. And then the larger cabinet down there on the bottom is actually the size of the new controls that go with this. So you talk about integrating this into other security systems and other systems that we have here. Our old system was maybe a third of that size. And so the amount of electronics that go into putting a new system into place and so forth. And then that whole fire alarm process, shout out to Ed Geidel from the fire department for doing our fire inspections with us this year on these 2 new systems. It means turning them all on and going room by room by room and checking every single strobe and listening to every single one. And so you get to memorize the different verbiage that they throw out by building. As that's now inspected and completed, we are in the process of taking out our old fire alarm system. And that is another room by room process that does take time. It is a priority in our construction schedule. So as you go in, every room that has a strobe, for example, there's one on the wall up there. In our new system, it'll actually be up in the ceiling with the speaker in it at that point in time. That may still be active. You might see some wires as we disconnect it. That is currently being taken out at this time. As we are continuing construction during the school year with our students back on campus and not just staff, we do have daily meetings around safety, areas of work, and contractor procedures between myself, Findorf, who is our construction manager, our subcontractors, and we lay out and we plan out our work for the day. And so this afternoon is at McLean. We walk through what's happening at McLean and Green Tree tomorrow. If we have to make adjustments, we are looking at where recess times are, where kids are in the classrooms, how they funnel in, what's the weather going to be like, all those different pieces. And then now that we've actually turned over some areas for use, we go through the punch list process. And all the punch list process is that idea that we walk into this space and make sure that what we expected from the beginning is done by the contractors who did the work at that point in time. And that's a team both of facility staff, our architecture firm, EUA, and then the Findorf team that goes through with that. As I mentioned, we started this roughly 82 days ago. So when you talk about what's been completed for the summer, in buildings like McLean and Green Tree, you often see the big stuff outside, windows and doors, the amount of stuff that's sitting on the site. Well, at both buildings, we've relocated our main office, health rooms, and offices to create multi-layers of security with better visibility at the schools and so forth. In some cases, and in these 2 buildings, the prior health rooms were actually the size of a closet and now can handle multiple students at one point in time to receive health services. We've installed over 80 sensors for better control, energy savings, and comfort, utilizing updated HVAC systems and controls. We've completely gutted and remodeled 6,000 square feet of space across the 2 buildings. A great example of repurposing space is at Green Tree, where the old office was and 2 classrooms. We've taken what was 10 spaces and built that into 20 different spaces to meet the needs of our staff and students as we've adjusted that over time. We've completed heavy ADA restroom remodels at both schools. And for those people who don't know, this is a long, tedious process because it starts with demolition of the old items. It means hand digging up the ground and installing new waste pipe, putting in new water feed piping, putting concrete back in, and then some sort of flooring work. In often cases in restroom, that is tiles, and the hallways outside of that are either tile or an LVT floor. And then putting in all new fixtures. New fixtures also are energy efficient. They also have sensors on them for flushing and so forth. So instead of old fixtures in some of our buildings where you had a big tank, for example, above the 3 urinals, and every 30 minutes it would just flush and all 3 urinals would flush at that time, now they're on demand and so forth. And so that process has to start from beginning to end, and that is not often seen. Replacement of 2 full fire alarm systems. And that is not just the strobe and the pull stations, it is additional sensors, it is all of the wiring that goes into play, and all of those different pieces. And then at McLean Elementary, we also have, because it's a 2-story building, above ground in areas of rescue assistance, which is a spot where you go at the top of a set of stairs in a 2-story building, and you can actually hit a button and ask for assistance from the fire department when they show up on site. And so that is an add and another security and safety feature that's been brought in. Over 80 window frames have been installed, which means over 80 window frames had to be demolished, one by one at that point in time, with over 200 panes of glass that have been installed in the short 80-some days that we've been working. Some photos from McLean. So if you were to walk in, the first photo there is what you're greeted when you walk into our new secure office entry suite there. So the main entrance, office, and nurses' spaces have been turned over and are currently being utilized. The top right picture is actually the hallway just towards the gym from the office, if you're familiar with McLean. And you can see the difference in tile there about halfway down that picture. That is where we had to cross in-ground piping. And so all that tile had to be replaced by hand. I told Jen and a few of our team here, the gentlemen who did our tile work at McLean, they did it all by eye without a single plastic spacer, and it's like as straight as could be. So you talk about the craftsmanship work that you see. And then at the bottom right, you see kind of the back of the office or the side of the office where you have new casework, mailboxes, and then going into our nurses' room. With the HVAC controls installed, we are making those final adjustments. We can now monitor that in an online system remotely at that point in time. All of our hallway tile has been completed. However, if you walk into McLean, you will see a few areas that are infilled. The darker brown tile, a portion of that was back ordered, and so that's actually infilled with a masonite or a thin material so that there aren't any trip hazards at that point in time. When you talk about Green Tree updates, you have new office areas in the top there. So that is the vestibule that you walk into past your first security door there. I'll talk future on about additional work. Door work will happen at Green Tree on the weekends or in off areas of the building as we stage that in the future. Our main entrance, our office, nurse spaces, along with our support service spaces are turned over to the staff. Some of those spaces, if you were to go visit that building, are actually empty right now as they are waiting for our early learning programs to go up there. That building did receive all new corridor flooring except for the last addition down by the gym. All of that corridor flooring has been completed except for the approximate 120 feet in front of the early learning classrooms. We're holding that as long as possible as we have people going in and out of there. In many areas, we're literally down to putting base molding around casework or cabinetry and the molding along the edge of the wall. And a good portion of that got completed this weekend. And then we're doing some final technology installs around TVs and displays in some of those secondary spaces. This fall, as we work in, we say fall and winter. When I say fall and winter, 98% of that work really is fall. There's one item here that will carry into winter based upon timing. So we have 4 early learning classrooms at Green Tree that are getting remodeled with casework and new ADA accessible bathrooms for our littlest learners. When you go tour those rooms, they look tiny, but then you remember how little those students are at the age of 3 and 4. Everything there is really down to bathrooms that is left to be completed. So the walls are tiled already in those bathrooms. It's placing fixtures, doing final work in there. We have one staff in what we call a super toilet. I will admit before this process, I never knew what a super toilet was. It's the architectural term, at least, that they use for a toilet with a changing facility with it. And so through our referendum, we have been able to provide a changing facility for our students that might need some sort of toileting help with a lift cot or a lift bed within them. We will have that in all of our elementary schools once we are done with this referendum construction work over the years. And so that is being completed right now along with the staff toilet. And there they are really down to fixture installation and ceiling installation. We have a little bit of that corridor flooring work that we are talking about. And now that we have updated systems, we're actually able to integrate our systems together. So our fire alarm and our security system, and you'll see the installation of the PA clock and bell system has already begun. We can put that in to trigger multiple different safety and security events between our door system, the alerts that we get on our phones, et cetera, for that. Installation of exterior and vestibule doors will start in the next 2 weeks. We will stage off a corner or an entry or exit of that building, do a set of doors, rip them out, replace them. Very similar to work that you have seen us done at Decorah or at The high school over the years is our last couple of projects as they come in. We will install a generator this fall, so that has all been prepped. All of the conduit for the wiring has been set. The concrete is done. We really are just waiting for that generator to ship, along with a new air handling unit. So we left the current unit in place as required. You need that to have in place. Those are longer lead time items and sometimes can take as much as 9 months to a year from order. So that's why you see a little bit of a trip into winter for that building. And then the last piece that was back ordered on us at both buildings is our windows are operable. So if you were to look at both windows, we do have one window pane in each of our windows that will open to allow for a little fresh air. Sometimes 28 kids coming back from gym class or outside on recess or so forth, you need a little bit of fresh air. So that will happen at both Green Tree and McLean. When you talk about future work at McLean, there is much less winter work in there. Most of that will be wrapped up here by the end of November at the latest. But you're talking about completion of window installations. So we are on secondary spaces at this point in time, working down towards the gym. We have one classroom for early learning that has a restroom where, similar to Green Tree, the restroom is ready. It is finished tiling. It is putting in some fixtures and so forth there. We have 3 office spaces on the second floor that are finalizing some HVAC pieces to tie into that unique older system. Completion of that super toilet, just like I talked about at Green Tree, that is on the first floor, and then some integration pieces with our new PA clock and bell system and our fire alarm system. And then same thing, we'll have operational windows at McLean in October at this point. As we talk about a year from now, and it's hard to believe because we're already in the planning stages for some of these pieces and already working on it behind the scenes, there is some additional work that was approved as part of the referendum, but based upon a variety of reasons, being either A, longer lead times for the equipment, the type of work that we are doing, especially outdoors, and in some cases you have to go in front of, for example, when we redo a parking lot, if we reconfigure that, we'll actually have to go in front of the city's plan commission and so forth for that process. So that gets pushed out a little bit longer. Green Tree, we will reconfigure the front parking lot, which is the east parking lot there, do some paving and grading work around the school. Part of that is A, the quality of that parking lot is poor and beyond repair. And B, the other part of looking at reconfiguring is now we are going to bring our early learning program in there and looking at safety and security, how we bring our buses, more and more people, more staff parking and so forth as we do that. And then when we typically redo our parking lots, we're looking at LED outside security lighting and pole lighting within the parking lot. McLean, we have some foundation repair work that will be done. We will do that in conjunction with the parking lot replacement next spring or summer. The reason for that is A, I don't want to put the parking lot in, rip it up, and then do the foundation work and repave it. B, there are some savings of having the same potential contractor do both. We are, as part of the referendum work, we were to replace the gym bleachers. We're actually going to coordinate that now with floor replacement. So earlier this summer, we had a failure of a piece of equipment not related to construction where water and some oil was poured on the gym floor at McLean. It is over 20-some years old, had been sanded numerous times, and so we worked with our insurance company on that, and we'll be replacing the full gym floor next summer along with the bleachers at that point in time. We have some exterior railing work. As you drive around McLean, there is actually railings on every single side of that property, on all 4 sides of the building. Some of them are in good condition and just need to be sandblasted and painted. Some of them need a complete replacement. We have some exterior LED lighting work, and then McLean used to have 2 elevators, and so by code we are required to have one, and one did not serve the purpose of the other and had some long-standing issues with it. After reviewing both with our city fire department, other safety officials, with the elevator company who services our elevator, we actually ended up in a better place where we modernized the one elevator that goes from basement to second floor, which is near the gym over at McLean. That work will get done next summer. And then we actually removed the second elevator, and that's where we were able to bring in that super toilet that we talked about for our students at that point and not having to take other learning space at that point in time. So due to the lead time of the equipment that you need to modernize or bring up to code that elevator, we weren't able to complete that during this summer's work. And that's what I have for you this evening. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board?
I have a comment. Not a question, but a comment. I was over there on Friday, and those schools look fantastic. I really appreciate all the hard work. And being on site at McLean and Green Tree on Friday, going through the summary, really brings it all together. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Tim. I know I'm getting a tour on Friday, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So thanks for all your work on this.
Yep.
All right, next up is the Curriculum Committee report, and Melanie Aragot, Committee Chair, will provide a Curriculum Committee report.
All right, thank you. The Curriculum Committee met on September 2nd, 2025. We received our annual update on the Second Step digital platform, which serves as the district's primary social emotional learning resource for grades 4K through 8. Because this resource is updated digitally each year, our staff carefully reviewed all lesson changes for alignment with the board-approved curriculum. At the elementary level, most updates were minor and did not impact lesson integrity. And in grades 5 and grade 8, however, changes shifted too far from the original curriculum. Therefore, the administration recommended and the committee supported removing the updated lessons for this school year. Our social and emotional learning and counseling curriculum will undergo a full review this year, ensuring alignment with standards and upcoming grade reconfigurations. The committee also reviewed the district's ongoing curriculum cycle. Teacher teams are now fully engaged in each stage of the cycle process. Current work includes social studies, art, music, world language, and CTE in evaluation, world language and secondary ELA in resource review, and math and early literacy in the implementation stage. Teachers are leading the recommendation process, supported by administrators and the curriculum and instruction team. This ensures ownership, alignment to standards, and consensus in decision-making. We anticipate hearing recommendations from art, music, and world languages this fall, with resource recommendations for secondary ELA and world language later this spring. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie. Next up is Superintendent Jen Wimmer with her superintendent's report.
So last week was first week of school for many, and we are out and about and eager to greet our students, and it was really well. There was a ton of smiles, some yawns as they adjusted to maybe their first full day or getting back to some early starts at the high school. But overall, everyone is very happy to be back. So just a thank you to the staff, students, and families who make that first week special. And just a shout out to our 4K, our staff, as well as our community partners. Today was their first day of school as well. So congratulations to everyone who's made it through their first days and their first full week. Just a reminder that fall athletics have started. At the high school, fall athletics are well underway with football, volleyball, boys soccer, boys and girls cross country, girls tennis, girls golf, dance, trail sharks, mountain biking, and girls swim and dive. So you can find all those schedules at the West Athletic website or the East Athletic website. Tickets are $6 for adults, $4 for students. Seniors are free, and students of West Bend are also free. So come and cheer on our students. And then I'd just like to announce the potential for award nominations. So members of our community, families, board members, any others may submit a nomination for the 2026 Herb Cole Education Foundation Teacher Fellowship and Principal Leadership Awards. So they honor exceptional work in 4K through 12th grade educators and school leaders. So I would encourage you to think about perhaps an inspiring teacher that you've had or principal in the West Bend School District, one that you might think is deserving of this award, and make that nomination. For the Teacher Fellowship that recognizes educators who've inspired a love of learning, motivate others, and demonstrate exemplary service in and beyond the classroom, those are due 5 p.m. Tuesday, November 11th. The Principal Leadership Award honors school leaders who demonstrate outstanding administrative skill and foster a positive collaborative school culture, and those are due 5 p.m. Friday, October 3rd. You can go to thecolefoundation.org for more information to submit that nomination, and I'm sure we'll run that in our district news as well throughout that kind of nomination period to encourage you to. So I would encourage everyone to check that out and consider nominating. That concludes my report.
Wonderful, thank you. Next on the agenda are our action items. There are several action items this evening. The first is the agenda and resolutions for the September 22nd, 2025 annual meeting. This was an item previously discussed by the board, and Mr. Lenny Hansen is here to go it over briefly.
All right. give a quick recap. We talked about this at the second meeting in August. So annual meeting is something that by statute, every school district in the state of Wisconsin will do. Ours is on September 22nd, following the same schedule and agenda as we've used in recent years. So at 6:30, there'll be a budget hearing followed by the actual annual meeting itself at 7 o'clock. There is an agenda. It's the same agenda that was presented last time that is available to look at. And then there's an advisory resolution to set the levy, which was also discussed at our last meeting and is available in board docs, that we would entertain a motion in a minute or so to move forward with at the annual meeting. As discussed last time, with the budget that is being proposed, it would result in a flat mill rate, no change in the mill rate from the $6.14 that it was at for the prior year. So you can see, again, the agenda, those resolutions that we would be bringing forward for that evening before you. Once approved by the board tonight, that paves the way for some required publications of the budget and notice of the annual meeting so that the public is able to participate. So I can answer any questions you may have and then would welcome a motion to approve.
Any questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, I move to approve the agenda and resolutions for the September 22nd, 2025 annual meeting. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, going on to our second action item. This is the policy series review of the 800 series, School Community Relations, second reading. These policies received a first reading in our last board meeting. This would serve as a second reading. While it is possible for the board to take action tonight with 2 members absent, we would like to place this on a future agenda for action. If there's any questions or comments regarding these policies, let's talk about them now. Otherwise, hearing none, this item will be placed on, up for action on a future agenda.
Will that be as its third reading, or will that be as?
Third reading in action.
All right, very similarly, the next is the policy series review of the 900 series, facilities development, second reading. Again, these were received a first reading at our last board meeting, and this would serve as a second reading. And again, while it's possible for us to take action tonight with the 2 people absent, we would like to place this on a future agenda. Is there any questions or comments regarding these policies? Okay, hearing none, this policy will be placed for action on a future agenda. Then our next is, again, Mr. Lenny Hansen, Assistant Superintendent to the podium for the 2026 Employee Health Insurance Program.
So the next 3 items are all very similar, but are separate action items. This comes up every year at this time, where we're looking ahead to our new employee benefit years, which begin on January 1st. All of the pieces that I'm going to discuss on these 3 items, health, dental, and vision insurance, were foreshadowed at the August 11th board meeting. And there really isn't a substantial change at all from what we discussed at that point. So I'll start here with health insurance. So looking at health insurance, which is our biggest employee benefit that we provide. We talked about at the last board meeting foreshadowing what the trend in insurance was across the region, which was around an 8 to 9% increase. We are not proposing any changes in plan design or network as part of the 2026 health insurance program for employees. We are looking at moving premiums up in line with that trend, and really that is designed to simply maintain the employer cost share percentage that we have had. So what that ultimately results in is, you see all the premiums listed in board docs, but as a summary, the most common single plan goes up in premiums by $6 per month, and the most common family plan goes up by employee premiums go up by $10 per month when you apply that percentage across. There are several supplemental added benefits that are also proposed as part of the recommendation that we foreshadowed at that August 11th meeting. The first is reduced price physical therapy for employees. So currently, physical therapy is provided to employees at the standard office copay cost of $30. We have worked with ATI Physical Therapy, which has locations throughout Southeast Wisconsin, including right here in West Bend, to work out a direct bill arrangement where employees and anybody on the health insurance plan, so any employee on the plan, spouses, children, could utilize ATI and pay only $10 per visit. So it found an arrangement that is both financially beneficial for employees as well as the district. So that is proposed to be added as a benefit offering to employees. Anyone who has had themselves or a child who's had to have physical therapy knows that it often is many, many visits. So that copay can really stack up after several visits. So offering that reduced price really can result in hundreds and hundreds of dollars of savings for somebody who's looking at, 2-3 months of physical therapy. So we're excited to add that offering for employees. We also would be offering, adding to our offerings, a free virtual mental health counseling option that's available through UMR, which is listed in the recommendation. Additionally, UMR has a free weight loss coaching program that the district, it's free to employees. The district would pay for it, but that's an added benefit that we recommend adding as well. And then the third is UMR has a discounted gym membership program that is available at certain participating locations that the recommendation also proposes to add to our slate of offerings that's provided to employees to choose from as they navigate their health care. So that's a big summary of what is proposed for 2026, and I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
All right, if there aren't any questions,
One quick.
go ahead, yep.
The difference between Plan 1 and Plan 2, is it just the level of the deductible or?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty classic, right? The higher premium plan has lower deductibles. The lower premium plan has higher deductibles.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And again, I'll reiterate again, those deductibles out of pockets, none of that changes. Plan design is not altered by the recommendation.
Any other questions? Okay. If not, I would move to approve the 2026 Employee Health Insurance Program as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Then, Mr. Hanson, you are also up for 2026 Employee Dental Insurance Program.
Also foreshadowed at the August 11th meeting, we're looking at trend of a 5 to 6% increase in premium when you really, again, looking at maintaining that employee-employer percentage cost share. When you apply what that really means, employee single coverage goes up $1 a month and employee family coverage goes up $2 a month. No changes are recommended for plan design. I'm sorry, $3 a month. So no changes are recommended for plan design. So really, we're just talking about adjusting premiums to keep up with that trend throughout the region. So not a ton on dental, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board? Okay. I would move to approve the 2026 Employee Dental Insurance Program as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Give that to
Ooh,
June.
I think so, yep.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And then lastly, Mr. Hanson is up again for 2026 Employee Vision Insurance Program.
Also foreshadowed on the 11th of August, vision insurance is a benefit that is entirely paid for by the employee. However, the district does have to set the deductibles, plan design, and network based on some requests from employees. We investigated some network upgrades, and really there was an opportunity to move with an expanded network for negligible cost difference, and that network opens up a number of other providers, most notably Costco, which is one that we've heard from employees that they'd like to be able to utilize. So the only recommendation is to shift the network, which is delineated in the recommendation that's in board docs. Premiums are released more in October by Superior Vision. And again, the employee pays that full premium amount on vision insurance and always has. So really, the only recommended change is that network shift to create some more providers. Any questions about that?
Okay. Hearing none, I would move to approve the 2026 Employee Vision Insurance Program as presented. Is there a second?
I think Joe earned that one. All right.
Joel got that one. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, then, next on our agenda is future agenda items. First up, the board meeting calendar. The future board meetings include, the future meetings include the September 22nd, 2025 budget hearing, which will take place at 6:30 at the Silver Linings Auditorium. Also on September 22nd, 2025 is the 106th annual meeting of electors, 7 p.m. at the Silver Linings Auditorium. Next curriculum committee meeting will be on September 30th at 4:30 at the Education Service Center, followed by the regular board meeting on October 13th, 2025, 5:30 at the Education Service Center. Please make sure to check the district website for any updates, as meeting dates, times, or locations may change. Are there any items for follow-up and communication? All right, hearing none, board members, we have an item that is most appropriately discussed in executive session. I would make a motion to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and take such action, if necessary, based on its discussion, namely compensation for all employee groups. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second to adjourn into executive session. This requires a roll call vote, and I will take the roll. Mrs. Kruger?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins is absent. Mrs. Lang is yes. Dr. Temez? Yes. Mr. Zweigert is not present. Mrs. Ergot? Yes. And Mr. Pickler? Yes. Thank you. That motion carries, and we are adjourned into